Good morning, good afternoon, good night. I don't know in which time zone you are. We are today in different time zones indeed. So from Australia via Georgia, South Africa, Germany and Austria, people are with us. It's my great pleasure to introduce 4 different art law clinics today in Vienna, where I am at the moment. Today is the 11th of June and it's 10 o'clock in the morning. The 4 art law clinics that I'm proud to introduce to you are first, of course, the University of Muenster, represented by Thomas Hoeren here. That's in Germany. Then we have, as a second important contributor, the TBILISI State University in Georgia, represented by Sergi. And then we have Stellenbosch University in South Africa, represented by Genevieve and Husna. And last not least, the University of Vienna, represented by Hande, Lukas, and myself, but I will not speak here. I will try to moderate this. I would suggest that in the first round, we introduce each other a little bit more in detail. And Thomas, would you be so kind to introduce yourself and your institution first?
So, my name is Thomas Hoeren. I'm representative of the Art Law Clinic in Münster. I'm very proud to see today all the other art law centers in the world. We have several people working behind my back, but today I want to talk about the history of art law clinics.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Sergi.
Thank you very much. I am Sergi Jorbenadze from IVANE JAVAKHISHVILI TBILISI State University. I am associate professor. Yes, we have already established Art Law Institute in Georgia, and we have had this center since September last year. And I would like to explain some details of our plans which we have for the future and what we are doing now.
Thank you very much. Genevieve and or Husna, please, for South Africa.
Hi, my name is Genevieve. I was one of the co-founders of the Art Law Clinic in South Africa. That was in October 2021 when we first started our work with Prof. Hoeren, and then we registered with the University of Stellenbosch as a society about a year later, officially with the university. And since then, Husna has taken over our country, and so she will be advising, and Husna can take over for me on her role.
Husna. Mm-hmm.
So I'm Husna Kathrada. I'm currently the chairperson of the Stellenbosch Art Law Society. So I just have a team of an exec team, and we have various social media, lecturing, and other platforms.
Wonderful. Thank you. And now, either Hande and or Lukas for Vienna.
Can I start?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks so much for having us tonight. Yeah, my name is Lukas Faymann, and together with my very dear colleague Hande, Özkayagan, Prändl, I'm actually in charge of the Art Law Clinic in Vienna. We are also already around since 2022 when we started our first class on the Art Law Clinic, and we've been steadily growing and things steadily improved, and it's a pleasure now to discuss and get some insights also from many other institutions here from you guys.
Hande?
Perfect. Thank you very much for the introduction, Lucas. My name is Hande. I'm working as a university assistant at the Department of Innovation and Digitalization in Law. And together with my colleague Lucas, we are in charge of coordinating the Art Law Clinic, but we also have a class that we organize every winter semester in our department, which we will be very happy to dive into the details. But I would also like to give a big shout out to our student board. We are a very much student-driven initiative, and without them, the clinic work would really not be possible. So we also have rather a big team behind us that is consisting of students and that are very much dedicated in really making the Art Law Clinic work as smoothly as possible. So big shout out to them from here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hande. So first, Thomas, please tell us the history of all this. So how did it start? When did it start? Why did it start? And why did it spread so well into the rest of the world?
So the history started with a strange incident. I met 2 artists from the Art Academy around the corner of the ITM, my institute, and they explained to me we are planning to sell a new vagina memory. So they want to make a memory with vaginas. And I said, this is impossible because you're violating trademark symbols which belong to Ravensburger, a big game company in Germany, and they will immediately sue against you because vagina is not a good topic for this game. I went to the Art Academy around the corner and met the head of the Art Academy, and I said, we have to do anything about this incident. He said, no. I'm totally nervous about lawyers coming to our house. I don't like it. It makes artists nervous to think about law. But I will talk to my colleagues from the Art Academy. 2 days later, he called me and said, we are now convinced that we change the policy. Please organize a lecture for art students. And I start a lecture. And then I said, lecture is boring because the best thing would be that law students help art students, not to do lectures because lectures for artists is really boring. I said, we start a kind of law clinic. That was an old concept we had as a faculty, which coming from the United States, and apply it to art law. Oh, he said, the head of the university said, a marvelous idea, we will finance that. And since that day, we have 2 law students who are financed by the Art Academy. We have a lot of questions and sessions with artists, especially during the time of the Rundgang, the famous art fair, which is coming into existence once a year. All the art students are presenting their objects, their art in the public. And then a lot of people come and want to buy it. And the art students even don't have any idea about writing a bill, what is VAT. So they don't have any idea about financing their art, about social security. So since that time, we have more than 30, 40 questions a year. And we write a vote helping them to find a good strategy for solving a case. We have 3 advocates involved in a kind of advisory council, who are checking these votes from the law students. And when they say it's okay, we'll send the votes and a summary of what we are doing to the council. We have written several books on art law. We have every term we are organizing a lecture series for art students, and we are going in the classes of art students so that we have a good context with the art students. Then I had a chance to speak in South Africa by kind invitation of Kajika, one professor in copyright law at Stellenbosch. It was a marvelous experience. And at the end, I met by chance then Genevieve. And I told her what we are doing in Muenster, and she said, wow, we should do that as well in Stellenbosch. She would talk about it in a minute. The same enthusiasm was there with Sergi and with you in Vienna. And we even have an art law center in Beijing, but with only financed by the state and doesn't involve lawsuits. But so we have a network of centers. Now we are thinking of combining these networks through an international association of art law centers. And we are organizing a new publication on art law in South Africa. So I'm very proud that this idea works on an international basis.
Wonderful. So if I get it correctly, Thomas, thank you for this, then Genevieve and Husna were number 2 in the list of art law clinics. So perhaps you could report on how this started and how it developed since then.
Sure. So Husna and I have decided that we're going to split our discussion based on, sorry, I can see there's sunlight on my face. That we would structure our discussion based on where we've come from to where we are now, because I was involved in the establishment with Prof. Hoeren in the beginning, and Husna is now taking us into the future. So when we started the initial discussion with Prof. Hoeren, I was actually taking a postgraduate course in intellectual property law, and I'd said to my lecturer that I would love to specialize in art law one day. Does he know of such a field? Does he know of law firms that I should contact? And he actually put me in contact with Prof. Hoeren, and he said, well, you should definitely get involved in this project. And it was incredible to find out that there was such a thing and such an interest in, the convergence between art and the law. So it started out as a bit of a passion project. And I thought that I was one of very few people who were maybe interested in art law. I mean, South Africa is very commercially driven, and copyright and intellectual property law. Copyright isn't the most important intellectual property law for most. Most people prefer patents or trademarks because of the commercial relationship there. So copyright felt a bit like the forgotten child, and it was the one that I was interested in. So I really wanted to get involved in the project, and I was an artist myself, so I thought it was quite interesting to see what that interplay would be. And once we had the discussion and we started onboarding other students, we realized that there was actually quite a lot of people who had the same interest. And it started with a team of about 15 of us who were all involved in drafting a booklet on copyright law in South Africa. And it was based on the structure of the University of Muenster's booklet that they had just done. And it became a really great project and a great catalyst for the work in the clinic. And once we'd completed our booklet and we started with the 2022 year, we were actually still busy with the booklet, and we decided to start taking the art law clinic more seriously and seeing if we could get more members. And within a year, we had reached about 13 new members who were all students who wanted to be involved in art law. And it became a platform for a lot of the students to start grappling with the law. It was the first time a lot of students were actually involved in actually dealing firsthand with the law and not just being lectured on it. They were using the tools that they'd learned, using the knowledge that they'd spent years acquiring, and actually being able to put it into something and see the fruits of your labor and what you've been working for all these years. So it just became an incredible community project for the students themselves. I think it gave a great platform to a lot of us who were mostly women of color. So I mean, that was really great, and it became quite a family, and it is still a family. I'm sure Husna will speak about that too. So we started doing lectures. We did lectures with our art faculty. We started lecturing with other bodies like the gallery of the University of Stellenbosch. So we'd lecture with other galleries. We would lecture with a body called Art School Africa, and that kind of became, the clinic took a life of its own, and it became a resource. It became a resource and a platform for us to share information rather than something that was actually us giving legal advice. I'm sure it's the same in other countries, but we can't give legal advice if we're not practicing attorneys registered with the LPC. So we saw it as an opportunity to rather share information than being something that we could actually use to share legal advice. But there was just a huge gap, and we saw as soon as we started giving these lectures and holding these workshops that our students had a lot of questions, and a lot of really, really basic questions and things that people should know about when they're thinking about commercializing their work and wanting to make a career and a future of their and what the prosperity of that career would be. So it was a great opportunity for us to just, like I said, get to practice what we'd been learning, but also be able to help someone else and see that there was real value in what we were able to share, even if at the time it felt insignificant, sharing the basics of contract law. It was really great to see that made a huge difference, and there was a huge demand for it. So that's the reason for the longevity of the clinic, is that there is just this existing demand for just a platform of information where people can come and find the information that relates to art law. So and that was really a big lacuna, is not knowing even where to start as an artist or as an art student. So yeah, we've had great success in South Africa, especially with this Art School Africa body. We are quite highly involved with them. They're a non-profit. They focus on uplifting art students as well. Not students, they're more based on industry professionals, whereas I think our niche is more students. And as Hande had said as well, we also rely heavily on the students who contribute. And yeah, we are primarily a student-based organization, so we don't get much faculty support. It's completely driven and run by the students. So I think Husna, a good chance for you now to take over and let everyone know how we've grown from there.
Absolutely. So Husna, please go ahead. How is it now today?
Thank you so much. So since then, we've grown into a society, as Genevieve mentioned earlier. So now we've currently got over 80 members, and we've grown into more of an educational society. Because helping one-on-one was where we started, but education at large is what we're focused on now. So we split into 3 main teams that we call them. So our first one is blog post team, and then we have the social media team, and then we have a lecturing team. So what our blog post team does is we focus on one specific topic for the week, and we write an in-depth analysis on our website. And then we give one a week to, these are all members of our society that do research, and then they produce those blog posts, and then they are joined with the social media team. And what the social media team does is create a more digestible version of this long post in an Instagram post. So it's 10 slides, a very short, bite-sized, like very information. It's very informative, but not in depth like the blog post. And there's some pictures and stuff. So that just gets people more involved in the society. They see something they like, and we use we write in very topical topics. So yeah. And then the last one is our lecturing team. So we have about 10 people that are very passionate about education and about speaking and presenting to a large audience. So these people do research for a few months, create a presentation, and they present to a wide audience. And since we've become a society, and from the beginning, we've been attracting various organizations, which we're very thankful for. So we've been invited to do various different informative lectures based on what those establishments want. So one that Genevieve mentioned was Art School Africa. The first one that I was involved in really blew my mind. And Genevieve was one of the lecturers there. So it was at a place called Orms, which is a photography gallery. And that's where it really, like, for me, I think I saw the value in how much, like, these people coming to get this education, which I saw firsthand, and I really appreciated. And then since then, we've partnered with WOMA, which is they are an African organization. So for that one, we had to do some research about Nigeria, about Zimbabwe. So that was a really, really good one to do for us. And then we partnered with De Beers, an intellectual property law firm, to do a basics on intellectual property for Stellenbosch University students. So we had engineering students, we had art students, we had law students that came for this. And it was just really good to see how many people were interested in learning about just the basics of intellectual property and how it's found in almost everything we do today. And then a very really big one for us this year is with Zaid's Mocha. We got invited to the Zaid's Mocha, which is an art gallery in Cape Town, to do 3 projects with them. So far, we've done 1 with their team, and we're looking forward to the next 2. So, yeah, that's all from my side.
Thank you so much for this, Husna. So now let's jump a little bit around the globe and go to Georgia. Sergi, how is it in Georgia?
Thank you very much once again. It's a big pleasure for me to be here and to make a small presentation about Georgia, about Art Law Center in Georgia. First of all, I would like to explain you how important it is for my country. We have approximately 3,000 centuries tradition of art, and it is very important to know how to protect the rights of artists as well as how to how works must be protected. I can say there are some lawsuits as well as lots of cases also in our court about art law and about such activities. So I want to explain the information about, or I want to explain about Art Law Center in Georgia with 3 main points. At first, I want to say that we have already published, as I already said, our Art Law Center. There is the Institute for Contemporary Private Law in my university, and under the umbrella of this center institute, we have registered on the beginning, but we are doing it. Second point, what is also a very important point from my side, it is what we are doing now. So I can say ongoing activities. We have been working or searching the students since the semester, beginning of this semester, students from law faculty for the non-law faculty students, I can say, for art faculty students, because it is very important to share some knowledge or some information about the rights, how to protect it for the non-law students, and we are doing now it. And I made also research for myself for the artists as well as for the art faculty students. It is very important to have, or that is very important to have some new guideline or book or some information for those students, because they don't have any knowledge for the law activities, and it is okay because they are not lawyers. And because of that, I decided to write the guidelines, the new book in Georgian, according to the Georgian legislation, but with the experience of European as well as German experience. Because of that, I have planned to go Germany, to Muenster for 3 months and to write this book. And I hope that by the end of this year, I will have prepared this book, and at the beginning of the next year, I will publish this guideline in Georgian. It is also very important because this is really important point for those students, as I already said. Third point, it is also very interesting from my side. It is our future plans. Art Law Clinic, we have just established it, but it does not work yet because we are searching the students, as I already said, and we need some material, some details, some information or books and guidelines, and we have planned to start it from September or latest on March next year. So what is now our next steps? It is to make some direct presentations for the art faculty students, and give and share this knowledge or share this information, make some open events and so on. And in the future, but we are just beginners now, but in the future we want to make a big conference in Georgia, international conference, to share not only Georgian but also international experience. And we have this plan, and I think not now but in 2 or 3 years we will start discussing about this area. So it was in a nutshell everything. I'm very happy to be in this group and to have this possibility to share our experience. and I will hope that we will have very, very interesting cooperation.
Nicholas,
Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. And last not least, Hande, Lukas, how is it in Vienna?
Also very, very nice and very exciting. So I think I said before that we started in 2022, and I have a confession to make. Actually, I was always interested in art. I wouldn't have called myself an art nerd necessarily, but what was very, very appealing to me at the beginning of our project is having the opportunity to really, really work on interesting new teaching formats and new learning formats with students that are very, very student driven, and the opportunity to really start from a clean plate and build something up from the very grassroots was incredibly interesting. Was a great experience, and I think we also made good progress around the way, and we grew and grew over the years. Maybe to just give you a little bit of an overview what we try to do, how we're structuring our art law clinic. We do have every winter semester now, we do have basically an introductory course where we onboard new members of our art law clinic by basically giving them an overview course in intellectual property law, so copyright, trademark law as well. We're also going into certain aspects of fundamental rights and arts. And as well some arts and contracts lectures, and the idea is that after our crash course, our students are fit enough to also interact already with art students or young artists somewhere else, and guide them, basically spread the word and give them a very low entrance barrier to accessing law or the legal system. That's the entire idea. Yeah. So that is basically our course system that we've set up. And the second big part that we're trying to do, we're really trying to make the Art Law Clinic a very student-driven organization. So we have a student board on the side that is consisting of former graduates of our course, and they have the opportunity to, similar to actually what we did from the ground up, to pursue their own interests. And I think we really established some nice success stories already. We also have a blog on our website, for example, where people get the opportunity to publish on art law related topics, get also the opportunity to have that reviewed by a more senior colleague. And what we also did, and what was also quite a nice thing, we set up a couple of events already where we, for example, spoke on provenance investigation in a very nice and very large setting at one of the biggest private galleries in Austria. Yeah, and the entire process so far has been very, very nice and definitely very rewarding.
Thank you. Hande, how is the daily work there?
Yeah, if I may add, it's really very exciting, and it's very interesting to also see how the interest is growing on part of the students, because also I must admit that I joined the department in 2022, and one of the biggest motivators for me was the existence of the clinic. And when I heard about it, I thought it was a brilliant project to be in connection with young artists, art students, because that really provides a wonderful setting to be hands-on and to be in contact with different people practicing different practices, basically. So that was really incredibly interesting. And of course, we do the course every winter semester, but it's also very rewarding for us to see how the demand is growing each semester, which makes this question, okay, then do we need to actually open the course for more people? Do we want to offer it perhaps every semester instead of the winter semester? So I feel like these are questions that we will need to consider. And what was really very interesting for me last semester in winter was how interdisciplinary the student group was. There were a lot of students already who are also studying art history, who are already working in galleries or auction houses, or who are participating in different artistic groups. So they're really very connected to the industry, to the creative sectors, which is for us really like a dream group, because of course they are so motivated to try to understand the legal aspects of arts and artistic practices, and really very eager to help. That makes our job, I think, way easier in terms of teaching them and onboarding them to the clinic. And as Lukas was already saying, it's our clinic is also a very student-driven clinic, and we are very grateful to our alumni, especially to our student board. They consist of 5 people, and they focus on various aspects of the day-to-day practice of the clinic, starting with the blog that we have. Anyone can contribute with respect to art law related topics. We also have like hands-on now, trying to make it even more and more active, so to say, like social media channels as well, where we're trying to attract interest to our clinic and to what we're doing. Also, our clinic or student board members are very, very busy with trying to stay connected to as many different cultural industries as possible. As you may know, Vienna is very rich in terms of that. There are many museums, private galleries, auction houses. It's a very rich hub, and we really try to leverage that by staying connected to different institutions too. I think it's very valuable for us and our students to see what's really happening. So far in our course last year, we had a visit to the Kunsthistorisches Museum here in Vienna, where we had a beautiful tour given by one of the legal counsels there, where she was explaining to us all the history and the legal questions that were emerging with respect to some items in their permanent collection. So that was really, I think, very, very interesting to our student group. But also, as Lukas was already mentioning, we are in touch with private galleries and also to other artistic institutions like Young Mak, where we're trying to really stay connected with them to try to advertise as much as possible what we are doing and how we can be useful to young artists and art students. I think our primary goal, I would say, is that we're trying to be very approachable and try to make the process as easy and understandable for young artists and art students, because as many of you already mentioned, it's very intimidating as it is to approach lawyers or legal scholars to try to get help. It's not very easy to get help. So that's our primary goal. And the fact that it's from students to students help, I think that makes us really very approachable, hopefully. But we are growing, and we are very eager to explore many, many different cooperation opportunities, which gives us a lot of work to do, but exciting work, I must admit.
Thank you so much, Hande. Okay, so then, Thomas, if you listen to those 4 different ways to do the art law clinic, what are, in your view, the most important things that we have in common, and which are the things that are most importantly different here?
So to listen to all of you is such a pride. I'm so fascinating to listen to you. I'm very proud to hear what you are doing. I see as 3 problems with all of us. The one thing is we haven't spoken about financing. I think the best solution has been found in Stellenbosch. There are university association, so I think they get some way of funding. It's the same in Muenster. We get some funding of the Art Academy, but I'm still thinking of getting more money for all of us. That means I'm thinking of building an international network which allows us to collect the money of rich advocates, especially in Switzerland. I want to build up an association for all of our centers so that we can get more money and financing by rich people. Second topic is interconnection. As Sergi has said, he is in Muenster starting in July till September. Genevieve was one time in Europe. Then I had a chance to talk to her more. But Gretchen, another senior researcher in Stellenbosch, was also in Muenster. So I invite you all to come to Muenster. Even Lukas Faymann has visited our center, and I'm traveling around seeing all the nice centers throughout the world. Third topic is reluctance. I still feel that some people are still reluctant to accept the idea of an art law clinic. So we need to promote the positive aspects of art law clinics, for instance, for galleries. We notice that some galleries in Düsseldorf and in Munich said, "Oh, art law clinic, wow. They are making artists nervous, and these artists are asking silly questions." So we need to educate even the galleries so that they understand it's better for them to have educated artists in the area of art law. And it involves as well the lawyers. The advocates still think we are competition. So we need to show them that their work is important for us as well. And collecting society is an old nightmare of mine. It's very complicated to get into contact with collecting societies for artists, but we need to integrate them in our work. So thank you. I'm so proud of you, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Let us perhaps close this by indicating each of us very briefly what, in your view, is the most important challenge for the next years to come, and what, in your view, is the most important opportunity for the next years to come when it comes to the art law clinics. And Genevieve, I don't know, would you like to start perhaps?
I'll give it a go. I think the most challenging aspects was already touched on by Prof. Hoeren when it comes to the reluctance of people to buy into an art law clinic, and how closed the art industry is. It's a very tight, closed network, and it's very old school. It's still based on who's who and who knows who, and it can be a little bit pretentious with respect to the art industry. So I think cracking into that, becoming a reliable source is probably one of the most challenging aspects. But I think what is definitely on our side is that we are in this new digital era. We are in this new open access, and everyone's excited about knowledge acquisition and information and being able to upskill. So people themselves want to know more. People don't want to be in the dark anymore. And I think we are, I can't remember who said it, but making something really happen is a mix between luck and talent. And we are incredibly lucky for the time that we find ourselves in this, where everyone is so thirsty to establish ourselves at this time. And we do have a lot of talented and committed minds amongst us. So I think we are, that is our biggest strength.
Wonderful. Thank you. Husna.
Sorry, so Genevieve talked on something that is very important. I think I'll talk about the biggest opportunity for us this year. We've been getting a lot of traction from, like I mentioned, law firms that want to partner with us and want to, specifically intellectual property law firms that want to help us educate a broader audience, which I think we're incredibly fortunate to be in the legal, like we are defined as a legal society at Stellenbosch, so that attracts a lot of opportunities for us. And thankfully we get some funding from those law firms when they want to partner with us. So I think we're incredibly lucky to be in the middle of art and law, where we can but there are law firms that want to help us educate artists. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Sergi.
Yes, I think 5 main points from my side. First of all, to fight the students. So I can say to create the group of lawyers at the university. Second, it is publish the materials, because without materials, as I already said, it is not easy to explain some details. There is also very important to create an advertisement highlighting the importance of art law, as well as international experience, because we have to share this experience. And the last point, it is the cooperation with the law firms. And I'm a lawyer. I have my own law firm, and my company is ready to protect this project, as well as I have just found another law company, and this law company will cooperate with us. So it is in a nutshell, these 5 main points for the future, and I think we have to go step by step.
Thank you. Lukas.
I think the biggest challenge, in my view, that was already shortly touched on by Professor Hoeren, I really think that our next big step should be getting institutionalized funding in some way. So we are running basically our entire art law clinic in a course setting, so in a just like every other course you might have at the law school, and we are really outgrowing that system simply, and I think that is definitely should be a next priority for us, and we're working very hard on that. For me, what is maybe the next big goal or the next big opportunity is, I mean, seeing how the art law clinics are successfully around the world. I think we really have a chance to revolutionize and make a big impact on how legal education works. I think that is also a big driver for me, and interesting, and I see good progress here.
Wonderful, thank you. Hande.
I can only second what has been said, but to add my 2 cents, I also completely agree concerning with the challenges with respect to funding. That's really not easy because our students, our alumni have brilliant ideas, and it can of course be an obstacle to making them like realizable, to achieving them. But as Husna was saying, I think there is a lot of interest too, especially on the side of law firms, opportunities for collaboration. It's just a matter of, I think, seizing them and finding the most optimal way to collaborate. I think there is a lot of room for growth there, so I am optimistic. But another biggest challenge I see is related to sustainability. So really setting up the system where the clinic works smoothly, can onboard new people, and even when more senior members might be like leaving, still the clinic runs smoothly because it's its own entity that's functioning on its own. So for the next years ahead, I think also from my side, the goal would be to really making all these processes really function very smoothly. Then the clinic is really self-reliant and can really work on its own, and can embark new people and then really grow more sustainably and steadily. That's a challenge, but again, I think not an impossible thing to do. So I'm again very optimistic. But as to in terms of opportunities, again, I agree with everything being said, especially what Genevieve said with respect to new technologies, creating new opportunities and different methods of creation, and this creating a lot of question marks in the public and especially in young artists. That gives us a big opportunity as legal scholars and law students to really trying to understand what it means for our own work and how we can stay connected and try to help and stay up to date because it's a very fastly moving field, and to try to help the people, our target group that we're trying to help. I think we have a big opportunity to grow, and also the areas that we've been helping are not only about intellectual property law, but it was also, it's very interesting for me to see how there are questions emerging in terms of data protection. Like artists are really coming up with these creative practices or projects that really blow our minds sometimes in terms of the questions that are arising. So I think for us as legal scholars and for law students, there's big room for growth. It can really teach us a lot, and I really find the importance of this not going away anytime soon. So I'm very happy about that, actually.
Thank you so very much to all of you. I think we gave a very appropriate overview about what's happening in very different areas of the world when it comes to art and art law. Thank you for joining us. I will link to all the clinics in the show notes below. So if you're interested, get in touch with any of us. It would be great to hear from you. If you want to found something at your university, we will be more than happy also to share our experiences offline if you wish that. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of you who joined here. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it might be, wherever you are. Take care. All the very best to all of you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.